What's going on, everybody? What's happening? What's shaking? My name's Dave McCrae. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to our first live in a little while. I'm excited to be here. My backdrop, by the way, is going to change very soon. I'm just in the process of changing that and rearranging that. I hope you are all doing well. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Hanukkah. Festivus for the rest of us. Whatever you celebrate this year or this time of year, or maybe nothing. Maybe you don't celebrate anything, but I hope you are all doing well, and yeah, you're staying healthy. Santa's going to be shoving his fat ass down your chimney in the next couple of weeks, which is, of course, very exciting. And I thought I would jump on and do a live show, contrary to popular belief from those who don't read posts. I was not removing all the live shows from the channel. I was just dialing it back because when you are on a roll, you'll notice that over the last month and a half, maybe 2 or 3 months, I was starting the process of dialing it back. Folks, I was doing like 12, 13 shows a month, and that's a lot. You know, when you're doing 12 or 13 shows a month, times 2 hours, I mean, you're looking at like a day's worth of shows, you know, like 24, whatever the hell it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so had to dial it back, want to try some new stuff on the channel, want to revamp it a bit, try some more short form content and you know, pre-recorded stuff. And of course, I want to pay more attention to my members as well. So that's in the process as well, because some people are members and, you know, they're very kind and generous. So I want to, you know, put some more effort into that. But of course, I don't want to like take away all the live shows, which I never said I was going to do. I just said I was going to retire McCrae Live and maybe do, you know, a couple of live shows a month for everybody, but focus more the live stuff more for the members. And that's just the way to do it. And if you think I'm selling out or that's mean and cruel and a slap in the face to you, well then, okay, then that's fine. I sleep well at night because I don't agree with you at all. And I don't think anybody who's been here for a long period of time and has seen the over 1,500 free shows that I've given you over the years and the thousands and literally thousands and thousands of hours of free content, the second I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to change it up a little bit, do a little bit of this, do a little of that. 98% of you have been like, yeah, I totally get it. Sure, man. Let's see if it works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. Let's see if it works. Let's try it up. You know, fresh it up. Try it out. Yeah, I'm totally on board, man. Totally on board. And then you get some people like the world is collapsing. It's like, the world's not collapsing, folks. It's okay. I'm just, you know, that's how you grow. That's how you evolve. Change is hard. I know change is hard. We don't like change, right? We don't like a change in our routine. We don't like it. We don't like this shit. You know what I mean? And I totally get it. I understand it. What's going on? Josh Stevens is here, of course. Brandon Collins, one of our great moderators, Brandon Collins is here. We've also got Amadusius. What's going on, Amadusius? Mendel Goodman is here. Cody Snyder is here. CM, my brother from Las Vegas. Not actually my brother, but Chris from Las Vegas. Great to see you here. Chester Franklin Jr. What's going on, Chester? Danita Brown. What's going on, Danita? Great to see you here. The Violator 862. Loving the new content. Thank you, Violator. Really appreciate that. Kevin Dustin 396 says, Dave, people think I'm you. Well, that's not so bad, you know. Handsome man like me. People think, really? Do we look alike? Is that what it is? My favorite Christmas horror is Die Hard. Oh, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. There's definitely horror in it. I see. A wink and a nudge. Yeah. There's there's definitely some horrific things that happen in it. No, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. We're not going to go down that road. But hey, you look like me, so that's good. I think that's cool. CM says, same birthday, though. Do we have the same birthday? We do? May 24th? Really? You must have told me that, and right over my head. That's awesome. That's amazing. It was the Boogeyman 78 says, my favorite Christmas horror is me spending all my money on everyone else. I'm digging it. Mendel Goodman sent one Dave McCrae gift membership to... It was the Boogeyman 78. Awesome. Thank you, Mendel. That was amazing. Thanks for doing that, buddy. Really appreciate that. Yes, we do, says Chris. That's awesome. Yeah, you must have told me that. I just totally forgot. So yeah, the backdrop here is going to change. I mean, I'm not moving locations. I'm just going to put I'm thinking of just like a black curtain with just like some lights and things like that. Like nothing fancy, just kind of, you know what I mean? Because, I'm just kind of thinking of doing that. I've got some stuff on Amazon that I'm going to order. And because I can't just have the backdrop look exactly the way it looked when I was doing McCrae Lives. Otherwise, it's just Dave doing McCrae Live. So I have to change it up a little bit. I got to change it up a little bit. So that is coming. I just didn't get the time, get the stuff in time to be able to do it. So Andrew Stevens, one of our great mods. Andrew Stevens says, remember, folks, it's the quality of content, not the quantity that matters. Less is better. Less as long as it's good. Yeah, it's just, look, I mean, there were some people that no doubt didn't read my whole post. The reason why my posts were long is to avoid, if you don't read it, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. I wrote a long post detailed to avoid any confusion, what I was doing, why I was doing it, right? What exactly is happening. There were some people that only read the first paragraph and thought I was leaving YouTube. I got a few DMs from people going, well, I guess that's it, man. Thanks. See ya. And I'm thinking, what? I'm not going to, literally, I got some, well, I guess that's it. See ya. What that's it? Well, no, thanks for doing YouTube, man. See you later. I'm out. I'm thinking, I'm not leaving. I'm just trying to, I'm not allowed to do that. Jesus. I'm just trying some different stuff here, folks. It'll be a mixture of pre-recorded stuff. The pre-recorded stuff will be a mixture of just my voice, where I do the deep dive sort of film essays, which I love doing. I have 2 on my channel. Well, I got more than that, but in the new era here that I've began over the last few weeks, I've got the Poltergeist one and I've got the Avatar one, which is great. It won't always be horror. I'm thinking, I made a post just before I went live on social media about that new billboard that was shown in Times Square from the new Spielberg movie that's coming out in June. And I made a post, it's very secretive, Spielberg. And I made a post about how it's exciting. There's a whole generation, it's not their fault, that really doesn't understand, because people focus on, but Spielberg hasn't had a hit in 20 years, which isn't true. Spielberg hasn't been that great in 20 years, which isn't true. Because you're equating Spielberg of the 80s and the 90s to listen, Nolan will not be firing on all cylinders when he's nearly 80 either, okay? It's just, people have their runs and then they go off and try other things and things like that. Spielberg has been, he's been pretty consistent. You may not have liked all his movies over the last 20 years, but that's because you're equating them to pop culture blockbusters, right? Over the last 15 to 20 years, he's focused more on dramas and personal pieces and character-driven films like Lincoln, Munich, War Horse, The Post, Bridge of Spies. Those are all great movies. They're just not, Jurassic Park and, Indiana Jones and, E.T. and Jaws. And it's a different thing. And he's allowed to do, he's earned the right to do that. But anyways, at Minority Report, fucking amazing. I liked his War of the Worlds. Anyways, he's the GOAT to me. He's the greatest filmmaker of all time. Not because, I'm not saying there aren't other great filmmakers, but in terms of his pop culture influence, and I mean, Spielberg is essentially a synonym for Hollywood. Essentially. And anyways, there's reasons for it. I'm thinking about doing a video on that. I made a post about it. Very excited about his new film that is coming out June. It's going to be all about UAPs and UFOs and all that kind of stuff. Disclosure, which is very exciting. The architect of the modern blockbuster is coming back and doing potentially, well, it will be an event film. It is an event film. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. You may not like it, but it's exciting that this is happening. I mean, this is basically the architect of the medium itself. Now, I don't mean necessarily film itself, but the modern blockbuster. Well, he is one of the, there's a reason why him and Kubrick had a great relationship, and Kubrick trusted him and only him to do AI. And so, I'm just saying, I'm just saying. So more deep dives, things like that, pre-recorded content of me on camera, live shows like this, just trying out some stuff. And then there are people that are very selfish. There was one gentleman who he might be a regular, if he creates another account, but incredibly disappointed with his behavior. He sent me a DM, which was verbal abuse. It was nasty, the things he was saying. So if you're watching, go fuck yourself, because quite frankly, I don't have time for that nonsense. That's just like 10-year-old nonsense is what that is. If you want to be a man, and, speak to me about your concerns, hey, Dave, I saw you doing this, what does that mean? What does this mean? I'm a little worried about that. That's fine. I'm open to that. Sure. And I'll respond to that, because that's what men do. That's what grown ass human beings do. But what you did is the equivalent of a 4-year-old having a temper tantrum going, I'm not getting what I want. It's like, dude, you're nearly 50. Okay. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So that was just unacceptable. It's not the first time you've done it, but it's the first time you've done it to that degree. So you're gone. I can't stop you from creating multiple accounts, but be careful how you respond or comment, or because, I can tell when certain people are certain people because of the syntax and the way they word things and the way they phrase things and how they speak and how they type and how they write. So you may think that I don't know who you are, but as a voice actor who reads for a living, I can tell. And so just be careful. I'm just saying. But yeah, so I don't have time for that nonsense. There's nothing wrong with being concerned. Hey, what does this mean? What does that mean for the future of this? What about this? What about that? That's totally cool. I'm down to have those discussions for sure. That's awesome. I think that's great. But there's no room for literal verbal abuse. Okay. Like I don't get paid to do this. Like salary. Yes. A little bit of money comes in from super chats and member chats. Yes, of course. And I'm very grateful for that. You guys are amazing, but it's not like I sit down, I don't have time for that. That's not why I'm here. And I think that's just, it's nobody. There is nothing I have done on this channel that deserves that. And I am well within my right to try something else, change it up, keep you guys in the loop, include you guys in on it, which is what I did. So I don't have time for that. You're a grown man acting like an infant, and you know who you are. Anyways. Brandon Collins sends in a member chat. Thank you, Brandon. Says, my favorite Christmas my favorite Christmas films are Die Hard. No! Eyes Wide Shut, The Thing, oh, I see what he's doing. The Shining, and Over the Top. Those are all amazing Christmas films. Amazing. It was the Boogeyman says, hit that like button, y'all. It's free. Yes, please do. Hit the like button. Smash it. Beat the shit out of it if you want to. Let me see here. So I thought it'd be fun to talk about some of our favorite Christmas horror movies today. Admittedly, I have to admit, I don't watch a lot of Christmas horror movies. At Christmas time, I like Christmas horror movies. I like them as much as the next horror fan, but I probably haven't seen nearly as many as you have. And because at Christmas time, I associate Christmas with a very joyful time of year, which is the perfect reason why you would choose this time of year to do a horror movie, because it's the dichotomy, it's the contrast. I totally get it. It's amazing. But I don't, like, around this time of year, I'm not sitting down watching Christmas horror movies. I mean, Black Christmas, sure, because it's Black Christmas. I mean, come on. But I'm not really doing that. And so most of the time I'm watching like Christmas movie, Home Alone, One Magic Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, just to get into the whole Christmas thing. But there are some Christmas horror movies that I do quite like. I really like Krampus from a few years back. I thought that was really fun, sort of different, It's not Santa Claus that's coming to attack you. It's Krampus, which I think is really kind of cool. It's a cool kind of thing. But one of them, a couple of the more recent, well, there's one that's not that recent, but there are a couple that are fairly recent that I actually quite liked a lot. And There we go. Now you can hear me. The first one was Christmas Bloody Christmas. Now, I watched this as a watch-along on my member stream for a horror movie nights last Christmas. If you are a member of mine and you've been a member for quite some time, you will remember that we watched this last Christmas. And I wasn't expecting much. And at first, I wasn't crazy on it. As we were moving along, I wasn't really crazy on it. But I actually liked it. I actually did. And so it might seem like I'm not saying that this is one of the greatest Christmas horror movies of all time. It's just a recent Christmas horror movie that I thought was actually pretty cool. It was actually pretty good. Fun. A little independent. Like, had I made this movie, I'd be proud of it. I'd be like, yeah, I'd be proud of it. I think we did a good job. You know what I mean? It was fun. The other one that that's kind of recent. Well, recent, it's almost 10 years now. The twist got me. And I watched it, and I'm like, I really like this movie. This is a really good movie. And that is Better Watch Out. I'm sure everybody here has seen Better Watch Out, right? I mean, this is, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I mean, I said there's a twist in it, but I haven't said what the twist is. I actually really dug this movie. I only watched it was it last year or the year before? And so I was a little behind on it. But I actually really dug this movie. And I don't want to say too much because of the twist if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen this movie, watch it. Watch it. It's really good. It's really good. And it surprised me. And I quite enjoyed it. Have you guys seen Better Watch Out? Have you guys seen Christmas Bloody Christmas? What did you think of it? Rickman 8343 says, I saw Christmas Bloody Christmas in cinema and loved it. That's cool. All right. That's cool. CM says, going to pick a less well-known Christmas horror movie, Christmas Bloody Christmas from a couple of years ago is good watch. Yeah, we're just talking about it. I don't know if you sent that in before I had mentioned it, but yeah. No, it's cool. It's hang on, let's bring that back up. It was cool, and I like the idea that it was like it's a robot in like a factory of them or whatever it was, and the colors at first, I wasn't quite sure on the whole. Like, there's a lot of neon in this movie. There's a lot of neon. We can tell by the poster. There's a lot of neon, a lot of green and blue and, fuchsia and pink, and there's a lot of it. But, by halfway through the movie, I'm kind of getting on board. I'm kind of, all right, it's a stylistic choice. I'm digging it. And I enjoyed it. And Better Watch Out, I didn't know what to expect. I thought the performances were really good. I won't say what the twist is, even though the movie's almost 10 years old. I don't know who's seen it and who hasn't, so I'm not going to say it. But I'll just say that it did surprise me. I was not expecting it. And it made me like the movie even more. I'm glad that they took that risk. And I thought it was a good little... It's a Christmas thriller. We'll just say that. It's targeted to a certain demographic, but it's a really good Christmas thriller. And if you haven't watched it, watch it, because I think you'll really like it. Now, another one, I decided to pull this out of my ass because I've never thought of this as a Christmas movie, just like how I think Die Hard would be more of a Christmas movie than this is, because I don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Here's the thing with that. So with me, it comes down to, if you want to call Die Hard a Christmas movie, I'm okay. I think I can get on board with calling it a Christmas action movie. I think I'm okay with that. Now, some of you might faux pas at the nuance of that, but I think it's important because a Christmas movie has a very specific identity. And you can say that, yeah, but if Home Alone took place in July, the same thing would have happened and they went away. Yes, like the premise of the parents going away would still be plausible at that time of year. But in Home Alone and in most Christmas movies, it is the season itself. It is because the season falls upon us, because of the season that has fallen upon us, the season of selfless instead of selfish, giving instead of getting, love and friendship and all that kind of stuff is part of the Christmas season. And therefore, people are remembering more at that time of year. They're reminiscing more at that time of year. They are being more generous at that time of year. The Christmas music is playing. They're getting into the spirit of that time of year. So I think it is, with all due respect to those who say that you could set Home Alone in July and just make it a 4th of, a summer, vacation, the same thing could still take place. Yes, the same premise could still take place, but I think there's an argument to be made that Kevin McAllister may not have learned the lessons of Christmas, the giving instead of getting, the selfless instead of selfish, to appreciate, do you know what I mean? It's the season itself, that conversation with the old man in the church and, the Christmas carols and the whole. Every Christmas movie, because of the season, it is the way people are behaving at that time of year and the lessons learned because of that. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. John McClane, I don't think, yes, there are certain things that are Christmas oriented, but I don't think the season itself is teaching John McClane to save everybody in that building. He would have done it whether it was Christmas or March. Do you know what I mean? And so I can't get on board with calling Die Hard a Christmas movie, but I might be able to get on board with being more specific and more nuanced and saying, hey, maybe it's a Christmas action movie, right? You know what I'm saying? I can't get on board with calling The Terminator a slasher movie. No. The Terminator does not sit on a shelf next to Friday the 13th Part 4. Do you know what I'm saying? But I could get on board with maybe calling it a science fiction horror movie or a science fiction horror movie or sci-fi action horror with, slasher elements. I mean, that's way too long. Now we're just trying to have our cake and eat it too. But you know what I'm trying to say, right? And so I just think that, I can't just say it's a slasher movie. No, it's not. It's a slasher movie. You know what I mean? It's too much, anyways. I think people just run out of fucking ways to figure. I think people run out of ways to analyze their favorite movies. And listen, if Die Hard was a Christmas movie, a pure, legit, 100% Christmas movie, and this is all you need to know, there would never be a debate. There would never be a debate. Do we debate Home Alone every year? Do we debate, the Santa Claus? No, we don't, because they so clearly are Christmas movies, right? The reason why the debate exists is because there's room to poke holes in the debate of Die Hard. And that's why I think it needs to be more nuanced than just a Christmas movie. That being said, this is a Christmas thriller, I think, which is really good. So the one I'm talking about that I don't think really is a Christmas movie at all, but I threw it on here because I saw it on some list and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen the movie in years, but I remember really liking the movie. And that is P2. Have you guys? Yeah, roll your eyes. Well, this is how I feel when people can say that. Now, have people seen this movie? Have people seen P2? It's a good little thriller, but it takes place on Christmas Eve, so it must be a Christmas movie. There's some Christmassy things in it. It must be a Christmas movie. She wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Christmas. P2. Who's seen P2? I know, I pulled this out of my ass. Literally. I took a shit and I pulled the... My pick, Black Christmas 2019, a masterpiece, says CM4660. Tab the Short says, wow, that's old. I forgot about it. Oh yeah, P2, that's a good one. I don't see this as a Christmas movie at all. Or a Christmas horror movie, I should say, because we're talking about Christmas horror movies here. But I remember I rented this. It came out in 2007. How old was I? I was 28. And I remember renting this from the video store and watching it and really liking it. Don't think I've seen it since. But I saw it on the list and I was like, oh yeah, P2. I really like that. And I did. I genuinely like that movie. I like that movie. It's a horror movie from the 2000s that I actually quite liked. Right up there with Pulse. Do you remember the horror movie Pulse? It's not a Christmas movie. But Pulse gets a lot of flack and I actually really like that movie Pulse. I actually thought that was actually all right. Same with The Abandoned. Do you remember The Abandoned? And also there was an English movie. I think it was a British horror movie called Creep. Not the found footage one, but the one that takes place in the subways or something. Chat room. I think that's what it was called. I think it was called Creep. I think. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but let me. I think it was called Creep. There was a run of horror movies in the mid 2000s that I actually didn't mind. I'm not saying I'm not saying they were great, but I actually didn't mind them. And Pulse was one. Tabitha says, when you Google Christmas movies or Christmas horrors, Die Hard on the list. When you Google Christmas movies, Die Hard will often make the list. Christmas horror, no, because it's not really a horror movie. I think it was, who was it earlier that said they chose Die Hard as a Christmas horror movie? I wouldn't classify that. Daz says, yes, Creep from 2004, I think. Yeah. I remember renting that and really liking it. Again, not a Christmas horror movie, but I just remember, a lot of those foreign films, indie foreign films, the underground, the subway, the grittiness of it. It was really gritty and eerie, and I remember really liking it. Of course, I haven't seen it probably since that time, so I'd have to rent it again to see if I still feel the same way. But anyways, I thought I'd throw this on here because it was. I'm like, what? P2? Really? All right. And I remember liking it, but I don't remember thinking of it as a Christmas movie. But of course, I mean, you have to go classic, and you got to go the original Black Christmas from 1974. This one is, it's divided, and I say it's divided because there are people that think it's very boring, and it has since become. I think its cult classic status really sort of cemented itself because of the internet. As I've said many times, it never spawned a franchise, never spawned any sequels except for our films, but they're unofficial, but nonetheless, we are the only ones to have done it. And yeah, I mean, look, it is the, despite what you think of the movie, and I respect those who don't like it, it is, an incredibly influential horror film. One of the early slasher movies, for sure, released on the same day as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 74. Now, you guys in the States might think of it as being released in December of 74, which is true for the American audience, but you have to remember, it's a Canadian movie, so it was first released here in Toronto on October 11th, 1974, which is why we released It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 last year on October 11th, was to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the original. And so, it obviously it did not get the cachet that Texas Chainsaw did, but very different kind of movie. And but incredibly important, whether you like the movie or not, whether you think it's boring or not. I mean, there's lots of movies I don't particularly like, but I recognize their cultural significance. I recognize their historical significance, their genre significance, their film cinematic significance. And so I would hope that, people who maybe don't like the movie will understand why it is revered by cinephiles and by some, is because, it was one of the first films. There was a earlier short film that did this, which I was actually able to see. But it was one of the earlier films to, the babysitter and the man upstairs on the phone thing, because When a Stranger Calls was 5 years after this movie. That wasn't until 1979. So Black Christmas was one of the first to do it. And it was based on a real string of murders in Montreal. I don't know if the phone calls were involved in that or not, or if Roy Moore just incorporated the urban legend into the string of murders, but I'd have to look that up again. But anyway, I would say that it's my favorite Christmas horror movie. Right? I mean, that probably should go without saying, probably not surprising to a lot of you, but it's funny. Like, again, I was looking at the list of Christmas horror movies, and there's so many that I just haven't seen, because at Christmas time, I don't really watch horror, or you know what I mean? I mean, there's some I have seen or haven't seen in years, like Silent Night, Deadly Night, I've seen obviously, but not in years. Silent Night, what's that? No, that other one. Not Silent Night, Evil Night. That was the alternative name for Black Christmas. Oh God. What was that one? I mean, there's Terrifier 3's on the list now. I was on IMDb and I was going through it Terrifier 3, Gremlins. I just don't see, I get it. Yeah, I get why people classify it as I don't know. I don't like this crossing the streams business. I think sometimes when movie fans cross the streams, it makes sense. And then other times it's just a stretch. I'm just like, yeah, look, like don't be a Netflix category, right? Like there's nothing more annoying to me anyway than when you go on Netflix and you see the same movie in 38 categories. It's like, yeah, this is, you stop doing that. Just because there's a funny line in this movie or there's a joke that's made in this movie does not now mean it belongs in, the comedy section. You know what I mean? And I miss the days when, and it's because maybe I'm a very linear storyteller as well. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I probably wouldn't make a movie like Memento. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate a movie like Memento. I appreciate the craft that goes into, something like that. But, and I liked the movie for sure. But I think, I don't know, man, maybe I'm too old school, man. I don't know. But this whole idea of, yeah, but it's like a horror slasher, sci-fi drama. It's like, no! Unless it so clearly is. Like sometimes you can watch me and go, yeah, this is clearly a slasher horror comedy. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you can watch like Shaun of the Dead, or you can watch, like it's clearly a horror comedy zombie. Like, you can watch, but you can't just pick movies out of your ass from years ago and because it's the hot thing to now kind of look at it years later and reassess it and write think pieces on it and go, well, it's kind of like, if you take all the guns away from the Terminator and replace them with knives, it's a slasher movie. So what you're saying is that it isn't a slasher movie. Well, I'm just, what? Well, you're saying if you take all the guns away and give them knives, you're saying it's a slasher movie. Basically what you're saying is that it's not a slasher movie. Anyway, I'm just like, I don't like this whole, like I hate it. I hate when I'm searching Netflix and I see the same movie in comedy, action, drama. I mean, I saw Indiana Jones in the children's section. Like, could we stop the mayhem, please? Can we stop the mayhem? And it was Temple of Doom. Nothing says, come on, sit around the fire, kids. Sit around the television and let's watch some monkey brains. Of course, I was watching that when I was 6, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? And so I think it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I can get on board with the humor and the fun, but I'm just not on board with this, I don't know. So when I see some of these things like Gremlins, I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, to me, just because a movie takes place at Christmas, it's set at Christmas time, doesn't automatically mean it's Christmas, a Christmas movie. For me, and I only speak for myself, it is the narrative, it is the through line of the character that goes from selfish to selfless. Now, every Christmas movie has a variety of different ways that gets their character to that point. But if you look at classic Christmas movies, right? It's a Wonderful Life, which could be argued it's hardly a Christmas movie, but it's a Christmas movie. And you look at like, Scrooge or Home Alone, or Ernest Saves Christmas, or The Santa Claus, or just Santa Claus the movie, or One Magic Christmas, or, like you just look at the classic Christmas movies, the character, our protagonist, to some degree will go from being selfish to selfless. That's part of it being a Christmas movie, is learning the lessons of the season, the giving instead of getting, the love and all that kind of stuff. And like I wouldn't call, Lethal Weapon. And then people go, yeah, but if you think about it, like, Riggs and Murtaugh, like technically, like they kind of learn how, but you're stretching it now. You're stretching it. Where does it end? I like clearly defined things. I don't like mess. I don't like cross-pollinating and crossing the streams. I don't like peeing at the same urinal with you. You got your own fucking urinal. You just stand there. I don't want to join you at your urinal. Okay? All right? It's a weird analogy, but you get what I'm saying. Oh, my goodness. I know some super chats came in. Hang on one second. I don't want to miss them. Mendel Goodman, member chat, says A Christmas Horror Story is great. Watch it if you didn't yet. A Christmas Horror Story? I'll have to look that up. I think I know the one you're talking about. Dawson McQueen says, my man, Mr. McCrae, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. You as well. If you celebrate, you as well. Even if you don't celebrate, whatever you celebrate, even if it's nothing, have a wonderful time of year. Let's see here. Algrandius, 777, $10. Santa's Sleigh with Bill Goldberg as a killer Santa is one of my faves. Corny, but fun. Same with Jack Frost, and It's a Wonderful Knife. Just some faves. Oh, I was going to watch It's a Wonderful Knife, and I didn't. I haven't yet. But I was going to watch it. That's another one on my list that I was going to watch last year, and I never got around to it. Josh Stevens says, just watched Better Watch Out this last weekend. Oh, amazing. A twisted reverse Home Alone. Yes, it was a nice surprise. Yes, definitely should watch. Yes, the lead child actor was awesome. Yes, they were both really good. But yeah. Totally. It was good. It was good. That's why it's on my little list. Again, I know my list is pretty weak. I admit, but it's just because I was looking for, I wanted to choose some that were kind of current and then choose a couple of classic ones, of course. But Better Watch Out. That one right there is really good. Probably one of the better, if not the better Christmas horror movies. I say in quotes because it's not like, a slasher movie. One of the better ones I've seen. For sure. Hang on, Cody Snyder, member for 28 months. Thank you, Cody. Says, I don't care if people call Die Hard a Christmas movie, but primarily it's a damn action movie. I can watch Die Hard any time of the year. I only watch Home Alone in late November and December. Yeah, and it's fun. Listen, I totally understand why people call Die Hard a Christmas movie. And there is definitely an argument to be made for it. I am not sitting here saying that there is no argument to be made for Die Hard to be a Christmas movie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think for me, it doesn't classify because it's like Christmas music, right? To me, there is a very specific DNA that goes into calling something simply a Christmas movie. Now, if you want to call it a Christmas action movie, because then what that does is it tells me as the viewer, you're going to get Christmas things in here, but there's also a different set of rules that partake to it being a Christmas action movie. So maybe the protagonist doesn't have to go from being selfless or selfish to selfless, right? Maybe he doesn't have to learn, all the deep-seated stuff about, all that. Maybe, but maybe not. Maybe he learns it in a different way. Maybe it's a little more kind of, sort of under the radar. It's, it's not quite, because they're concentrating so much on other things. A Christmas horror movie, then maybe it's a bit, like, I get that. I get that. And I think I'm on board with maybe looking at certain movies through, a bit of a different lens and saying, well, maybe this could be a Christmas action movie or, a Christmas slasher movie or something like that. But just calling something, there's a reason why we put horror in front of these films, right? We wouldn't just call Black Christmas a Christmas movie. We wouldn't just call Better Watch Out a Christmas movie. We wouldn't just call, Christmas, Bloody Christmas a Christmas movie. What do we do? We say Christmas horror movie. Why do we do that? Because it's important to differentiate it from the classic, traditional, just simply Christmas movies, which are Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life, The Santa Claus, and so on and so on and so forth. Because there's a very specific DNA. So if we want to start calling Die Hard a Christmas action movie, okay, maybe there's something there. Because then all those things, and I'm like, yeah, but this is why it's not. But this is why it's not. But this is why it's not. Yeah, but this is why it's not. Now, you might be able to say, yeah, but Dave, with Christmas action movie, all those things don't matter. Because that's part of the action. Or all those things can now be, looked at through a bit of a different lens, right? And so, again, I know I'm taking the fun out of it. I realize it. But I'll just say this again. If it was clearly just a Christmas movie, nobody would be debating it every year. Why do people debate? Why do people who feel the need to defend it every year? Right? Like nobody's defending Home Alone. Where's the Home Alone debates? Home Alone's not a Christmas movie. No, it is. It is. Right? Anyways, that's how I feel about it. Josh McKenna. Spielberg is my favorite director. He is the GOAT. He's my favorite director of all time as well. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Good to see you here. Josh follows up, says, my Christmas tradition is playing music with a band that I'm in called Kenosha Kickers. Are you really in a band called the Kenosha Kickers? That's amazing, Josh. You probably heard some of our... Oh, no, wait a minute. Are you... Oh, no, you're quoting. You're quoting, or are you really in... Are you quoting Candy from Home Alone, or are you really in a band called the Kenosha Kickers? That would be amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You probably heard one of our greatest hits. Polka, polka, polka. No. Like he's saying, that is such a great, funny line. And I don't know if he ad-libbed it, because I know he ad-libbed a bit of it. It's such a great line because he's basically saying the genre of the music. That's why it's so funny. Like at no point would that ever tip somebody off to the song, right? I mean, it's like me going, yeah, you know, I'm part of a rock band, you know, you might know our, you know, latest hit, rock band. It's like, what? You know, or yeah, you know, I'm part of this heavy metal band. You probably heard, you know, our latest hit, heavy metal. Like what? Like it's so funny. It's hard to articulate, but it's so funny the way he does it. Like, oh yeah, he probably polka. What? That doesn't tell me it's funny because it tells her nothing. That's why it's funny. It's so good. Brandon says, Canadian slashers just hit me in a completely different way than others. I love the aesthetic and tone of the films made between Black Christmas and Curtains. That decade was just awesome. Oh yeah. Terror Train. I think that was Canadian, right? Prom Night, I think was Canadian. My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, there were some good ones. Canada does horror very well. It's too bad we've sort of gotten away from it over the years. I mean, we still do it, but, you know, of course, David Cronenberg, you know, I mean, Scanners, that's for you. That's Canadian. One of the best head explosions of all time. But it's good stuff. Yeah. Brandon says, it's a wonderful knife. It's a fun teen slasher film like Happy Death Day. Not too deep, but entertaining. Yeah, I got to check it out. I liked Happy Death. I like both Happy Death Days, actually. I hear that there's rumors they might be doing a third one. We'll see. Views Parallax says, I get Dave's point, but also pointing out things like Terminator has the formula of a slasher or Alien has the formula of an old dark house movie, but in space is useful, analytically and interesting. Oh, it is. Oh, for sure. If you want to write like a think piece on it and analyze it, for sure. But there's a difference between looking at it through that lens and also then making the giant leap, you know, and then it becomes part of pop culture mainstream as it just is now, you know, a Christmas movie. And it's like, well, yeah, but there's different definite, like, I think we need to be, and that's just me. I only speak for myself. I'm not the arbiter of this. Look, if you watch you know, I said this on my member show the other day. If you watched The Bridge on the River Kwai, if you know the movie, you know, maybe you don't, but anyway, which is not a Christmas movie at all. It's from 1968, I think it was, somewhere around there. Great film. If you watch that movie every year at Christmas time with your father, then that might have a Christmas association with you, and therefore by some sort of weird byproduct, it's a Christmas film. It's not, but it is kind of, right? There's nature versus nurture. There's, you know, associations. I totally get it. And I hear all the arguments that people make for Die Hard. Ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Or the other way around. You know, his wife's name is Holly, takes place at Christmas time. You know, the music and the wreaths and all this kind of stuff. But when you are setting a film at Christmas time, you would naturally, like, I don't think that automatically, because if that's, I don't think that automatically means, therefore, it's a Christmas movie. Right? Because then that would mean any movie set at Christmas time or in and around the holidays is by default a Christmas movie. And I don't think that's true at all. Not even close. And so I think the story was about a man going home at Christmas time to try and, you know, reconnect with his estranged wife. And they were having a Christmas party. And so therefore, if you're having a Christmas party, yes, the environment set deck and your art department, obviously they have a job to do, right? I mean, that's That's the story. But I don't think it wasn't the Christmas season that, again, people say, yeah, but that's why John McClane went home, was because it was Christmas. True. That is true. And therefore, you could say the same thing about Home Alone and set it in July, and it's not a Christmas vacation, it's a summer vacation. True. That's also true. But like I said earlier, but the season of Christmas and what the season of Christmas brings and what it teaches all of us who celebrate, even if you don't, even if it's Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate this time of year, there is a selfless over selfish, giving over getting, family, love. You know, it's part of the season. It's baked into the season. Of course, the retail industry is a whole other thing. And so without the season being present, and it doesn't set up the environment and the tools and the sequence of events for your character, the obstacle course for your main character to go through to learn about all the things they need to learn about. If you said Home Alone in July, the same things would still happen in terms of Kevin being home alone, them going away, robbers coming over. But then you could make the argument, well, the reason why the robbers were there is because it was Christmas time and everybody was away. Not everybody goes away on vacation at the same time in the summer, right? So you could make that argument. But then you could say, well, maybe they were just scouting that one home. Okay, fine. But it's summertime. So all the things that Kevin learned from the old man, from just the season itself, from being out in the environment and all these things, all the lessons that were learned about family and love and giving instead of receiving. There's an argument to be made that it's not as clear. It's not as clear setting it in July as it would be at Christmas. It's the reason why people make those kinds of Christmas movies at Christmas time is because of, and you don't, it's because, I'm not saying that's the only time of year you can tell a story about a protagonist learning to love and to give instead of receive and to be selfless. No, of course not. But what the season brings leans into that and just presents the obstacle course so clearly for our characters and those plot beats and narrative beats to be able to go through. And so my argument has always been that, yes, that's true. Christmas is what brought John McClane to Los Angeles, and it's the reason why he's there, and it's the reason why there's a party and the building is empty and the terrorists are there. Sure. But John McClane would have saved those people and done his job no matter what time of year it was. And therefore, he would have been very thankful for, accomplishing what he did. And so I think there's an argument. It's just, look, to me, the traditional Christmas movie is what a Christmas movie is, right? They all have the same through line. You want to call Die Hard a Christmas action movie like you want to call Lethal Weapon a Christmas action movie, that's fine, because then there's more wiggle room. There's more wiggle room, right? To kind of, make adjustments, we'll say. Make adjustments. Yeah, calling The Thing a Christmas movie is just silly. And I'm not surprised. It might be in jest, but I'm not surprised people are stretching that elastic because you give somebody an inch, they're going to take a mile, right? And because now it's sort of, because now the boundaries have been stretched and now it's like, and I don't know. I know it's fun. But I just will always come back to, if it really was a Christmas movie cut and dry, nobody would debate it. And it's debated every year. And so that just should be the answer right there. Case closed. It's not a Christmas movie, but it might be a Christmas action movie. Okay. Well, now let's talk about that. You know what I mean? But that's me. Arthur, why is your name cut? Oh, they're using all the regular names. Anyways, you know who you are. Thank you. Says, hey, Dave, I was curious what your thoughts are on the Harry Potter films. Which have you seen? Do you have a favorite shot? And how about the magical score of John Williams? Yeah, I mean, amazing. John Williams, the greatest film composer of all time. There are great ones. I've only seen the first 2 or 3 Harry Potter movies. I haven't seen any of the others. So I can't really answer that. And I saw them years ago when they first came out. And his score is great. His score in Home Alone is great too. Speaking of Christmas movies. But yeah, no, I haven't seen them though. I've only seen the first 3, I think. Josh McKenna follows up. Thank you, Josh. Says, is there anyone in your life that hates gore? If you can trick them into watching Terrifier 3 and just say it's a family Christmas movie, do you know anyone who you would do that to? Well, I would never do that to anybody. And I don't know anybody in my life that hates gore. Nobody that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there are, but not that I can think of off the top of my head. Views Parallax says, I think your point is something like The Thing or Die Hard have the themes of a Christmas movie. Well, The Thing has nothing to do with Christmas. There is no, that's made up themes. It has nothing to do with Christmas at all. The movie actually takes place in the summer. The reason why it's winter is because they're at Antarctica where it's winter all year round. So it's not even set at Christmas, for goodness sakes, as far as I know. And with Die Hard, again, there's an argument to be made, but I think there's just as strong of a case as an argument to be not made for it. And I did a whole video on it last year. And so, yeah, like I don't think of it as just a Christmas movie. You want to say it's a Christmas action movie? Okay. I might be able to get aboard on, because then the lessons, the deep-seated moral lessons, don't have to take center stage. The action can take center stage, which it so clearly does in Die Hard. Anyway. Let me see. Yeah, exactly, Daz. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's not even it's just stupid. It's stupid. It's this thing that I can't take it seriously. I'm sorry. I know I might be a bit of a party pooper, but the second that fans start to stretch boundaries, I'm just like, you want to say Terminator is a science fiction horror film? Okay. I mean, maybe I could get on board with that, but the second you start saying it's a slasher movie, yeah, but think about it. He's like Michael Myers. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it is. It doesn't, just because there are similarities, it doesn't mean it is. Even James Cameron, but James Cameron said he thought of it like Michael. Yes. But then if you watch the same interview where he says that, he goes on to say, but it became this science fiction film, science fiction action film. He says it in the same breath, and so, yes, inspired by inspiration, sure, but it's boundaries are important because in my mind, the second you just call something a slasher movie or a Christmas movie, then where does it end? You have to have rules. I feel like the duck that I play in Deer Squad, who's all about the rules of the park. But it's true. Like I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I'm okay with having some fun, but I can't take you seriously when people start serious. No, The Thing is a Christmas movie. I mean, think about it, right? Creed's kind of like Santa Claus, got a beard. No, stop it. Are you really this bored? Come on. It's not a Christmas movie. No, but it is. If you think about it, right? You get a little beard, a little snow time, and the dog could be like a reindeer a little bit, and it kind of look like a reindeer with a shadow on the wall. And it's kind of like an elf, he's kind of child like an elf. And then no, you could do that with any movie. You could do that. Oh, you know what? I mean, Jesus, Santa Claus with Tim Allen, it's kind of like if you think about it, it's really kind of like 2001. A Space Odyssey. I mean, if you think about it, right? There's a transformation and, he goes on and he doesn't know what's going to happen. And he goes to this different world and he's going there and then he ends up in this, stop it. No. Stop that nonsense. Are film fans really this bored? And it's only coming from horror fans too. You know what I mean? Hey, Reese Wilson, what's going on, my brother from down under? I haven't seen you in here in a long time. Great to see you here, Reese. Says from Willow with Love. Next, they're going to say The Hateful Eight is a Christmas Western just because it's set in the snow. Yeah, it's true. And look, there's no defining specific rules, but I think the rules that I've laid out in terms of where the protagonist begins, where they end, how they get there, all that kind of stuff. I don't think John McClane was necessarily changed. I think he was pretty much the same guy he was at the end of the movie as he was at the beginning of the movie. I don't see him in Die Hard 2 as a changed man. Do you know what I mean? I don't think what he went through in that movie, he became less selfish. I don't know if he was really selfish in the beginning. I guess he sort of was. You could say the act of saving everybody was selfless, but that's not dependent on Christmas. He would have done that at any time of year, right? And so, again, there's arguments to be made for it, but every argument I hear for it just continues to point me to adding the extra genre. Okay, Christmas action movie then. I wouldn't stick it on a shelf next to Home Alone, but people like to do that because it's edgy and it's fun. Yeah, because it's kind of fun to put it there because it kind of looks weird there. Like, yeah, Die Hard next to Home Alone. Yeah. And there's that edge to it, that kind of spice to it when you talk about it and when you see it on a shelf or in a list, Home Alone, It's a Wonderful Life, Die Hard, oh yeah, and there's that little thing that we all, not me, but some of you guys get, Die Hard, Christmas. Yeah, and the reason you're feeling that way, or you kind of feel that when you see it on a list of Christmas movies, is because it's different. It's not supposed to be sort of the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, now that all the Die Hard is a Christmas movie fans hate my guts, but let me see here. Did I get all the super chats? I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. Member chats, super chats. I think so. The whole interface has changed here. Interesting. All right. Changed on me. But yeah. Yes. Thank you, Josh. You sound like Randy from Scream. There's a clear formula. There are rules to this. Yes. Exactly. I am Randy when it comes to this. There are rules to a Christmas movie. There are rules. That's true. Yeah. Oh, Empire Strikes Back. Clearly a Christmas movie. I mean, the opening 25 minutes is for sure. 100%. Well, you didn't see that tree in the background? You didn't see that when the probe launched to Hoth? You didn't hear, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. That was going to be a couple of different songs, which is why it began with, I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted to do. Brandon says, Terminator is a slasher in the same way No Country for Old Men is a Western. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's not a bad analogy. I don't see it as a slasher movie at all. I mean, listen, there's lots of movies that have been made over the years of antagonists stalking women that aren't slasher movies, that I don't think of them as slasher movies. So I wouldn't say, yeah, but he's an unmovable force and he's like this and that, and he keeps going. And I know Halloween fans, I know. I don't agree. And I've had so many people try to convince me over the years. Yes, it is. It's a slasher movie. Not to me. Terminator has always been assigned, the first Terminator, even the first one, has always been just sci-fi action to me. It's a science fiction action movie, for sure. Yep. But if you take out all the guns and you give them knives, yeah, but you saying that just is you saying it's not a slasher movie. So we have to do this to make it a slasher movie. Okay, well, therefore it's not a slasher movie then, right? Tom Ungurian says, love Tarantino, but he got to keep my boy Lillard name out his mouth in a negative BS statement that he probably just made because he was jabbering at the mouth. Lillard is a nice guy. Yeah, well, he didn't say that Matthew Lillard was not a nice guy. I don't think. He just said he didn't like him as an actor, which is fair. I mean, that's his prerogative to do so. I think what's just weird is I don't understand why he felt the need to say it. I don't know what upside there is to that, really, if you think about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what upside is there to hounding Matthew or just, I don't know. I mean, listen, I can tell you right now, it's not a shock to me that he doesn't like actors. There's lots of people that don't like people in the entertainment industry. There are people that work together that don't like each other. And so that doesn't mean you have to say it out loud. But, look, it's an industry full of egos and money and hard work and, optics and promotion. And, I think it's whether you like him or not, Quentin Tarantino is one of the great directors in terms of how revered he is. And I like his movies here and there. I just don't understand. It felt personal, not the Lillard one. That just felt like a weird thing to say, but the Paul Dano one felt personal. Like it was just sort of weird. Like all he had to say was, yeah, I really love the movie, but I felt the supporting cast just wasn't quite up to where Daniel Day-Lewis was. And I kind of thought that brought the film down, but yeah, that's all he had to say. You didn't have to. And listen, and let me tell you this. I don't know if anybody else has said this, probably, but let me tell you this. Quentin Tarantino knew exactly what he was doing. He's not surprised by this. Quentin Tarantino's not new. He knows he knew by saying that on this guy's podcast that it would get out there. Well, you think he didn't know that? You think he was just... No, he knew damn well what he was doing. He knew damn well. Tarantino just doesn't give two fucks. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. But he knew damn well that it would be out there. 100%. Some people have said it would be funny if they were all cast in his next movie and this was just some big marketing ploy. That would be really funny. That would be genius. I don't think that's the case, but who knows? I mean, you never know. But yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't understand why he did that. Ian Rapesh. Good to see you, Dave. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you as well. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for chiming in. Appreciate that. Would I consider Chucky a Christmas movie? The first Child's Play? No, not even close. Not at all. The first half is during Christmas time and Chucky is Andy's gift. No, but it depends. Look, I mean, this is art. This is subjective. If you want to think, Rocky's a Christmas movie, knock yourself out. I mean, no, just because something has a tree in it or is Christmas time, doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie. But again, what are we defining? Like a traditional Christmas movie, or a Christmas action movie or a Christmas horror movie, I personally think it's time people started calling Die Hard a Christmas action movie. Just as we call Better Watch Out a Christmas horror movie. Just as you call Black Christmas a Christmas horror movie. Just as you would call Christmas Bloody Christmas a Christmas horror movie. Right? Right? You wouldn't just say Christmas movie, you'd say Christmas horror movie. Why do you do that? Because there are things in it that clearly define it from being different than a traditional Christmas movie like Home Alone. So therefore, Die Hard, call it a Christmas action movie. And then the debate will end. The reason why the debate keeps going is because everybody wants to say it's the exact same thing as Home Alone. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Josh says, do you know anything about Warner Brothers and Netflix? Well, I don't know the details. I mean, I know, what's happened, and how it's happened and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know the details. I know some of the details, but not enough to speak about it, in any great detail. Ba-da-ba-ba. Yeah, he was completely wrong about Paul Dano's performance in There Will Be Blood, but to call him the worst actor in SAG, it's crazy. Yeah, it's just stupid. It's hyperbolic. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I mean, does Tarantino forget that only 2% of SAG are working actors? That's another thing that people don't, people forget. So the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, like ACTRA here in Canada, the percentages are not the same, but in terms of most SAG actors, just as most ACTRA actors, are not A-listers. They're not making millions of dollars a year. And so I think it's only like 2 or 3% of SAG that is actually a working actor, and SAG has like 60,000 members or something like that. So I guarantee you Paul Dano is not the worst actor in SAG. I know what he meant when he said that, but it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Yeah, it's just dumb and feels weird. Has Paul Dano said anything though? Has he come out and said anything? I don't know if he has. Nikki K says, I love Violent Night. Oh, Violent Night. That's the one with, what's his face? Hopper from Stranger Things, David Harbour. I was going to watch that the other day and I forgot because I got busy. I do want to watch that. I do want to watch that one, Violent Night. That is that one, right? Violent Night, I think. And aren't they making a sequel to that one? I think they're making a sequel to that one, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I want to watch that one as well. That's right. Tarantino is in SAG. He's a worse actor. Yeah, he's done a few things. He was on an episode of The Golden Girls as an Elvis impersonator. I love The Golden Girls. One of the great sitcoms of all time. Tom Hungarian, Chucky was a gift. That's true. That does make it a Christmas movie. So was Luke's lightsaber. That's not a Christmas movie. Guitarist Dog 87 says, hi Dave, my favorite Christmas movie is Scrooged with Bill Murray. Cool. That's another one I haven't seen in a long time, but that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a traditional, well, that's based on the whole Scrooge, kind of thing. It's their take on it. But that's a good one. That is a good one. Did I miss? I don't think I missed anything. Did I? I don't think I did. Brandon says, Dano hasn't said anything, but Daniel Day-Lewis did. He said he's one of the best actors of his generation. Good for Daniel Day-Lewis to say that. And Paul Dano is a very good actor, actually. He's very good. He's good in There Will Be Blood, but he was terrific in Prisoners. He was terrific. He's been in great. He was great in The Fabelmans. He's been great in everything I've seen him in, yeah, like I would never watch him and be there's something there. There's something there, and it may not even be public. It may have been inside baseball, something maybe Dano said about, Tarantino, like, within the circles of Hollywood, and Tarantino heard about it. And, like, it's just probably that kind of nonsense. Chester Franklin Jr., Dave, hope you were well. My favorite Christmas horror movie is Black Christmas from 1974. Definitely a movie to rewatch this time of year. I could not agree more. Oh yeah, it's my favorite Christmas horror movie of all time, for sure. For sure. For sure. Reese says he wasn't completely wrong about Paul Dano's performance in There Will Be Blood, but to call him the worst actor in SAG is crazy. Well, yeah, I mean, and again, I haven't seen There Will Be Blood in years, but I don't recall being turned off by Dano's performance, and yeah, I don't recall. So I don't know. This is nothing new with Tarantino, says Daz. He has always been vocal. He said in a podcast about his fave films. Well, he's always been that way. It's exactly, what I said. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knew when he said that it was going to be all over the trades. He knew that. He just doesn't care. He does not care. He does not care. There's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for that. Badlands Boogeyman. Dave, brother. Good to see you. I got to check out the map of the Halloween game. It came out earlier this week. Oh, okay, cool. I did not know that. I'll have to go and check that out. The map of the Halloween game came out earlier this week. All right. I will have to check it out and see. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, sorry, it's Juan Rivera. Oh, okay, changing. Oh, yeah, because I don't know why YouTube has done this. I really don't know why. Everybody's channel names are now just their like handles. They're not the names that you added. I don't know why YouTube has done this. Maybe it's for extra security or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, I guess we'll get used to it. We shall get used to it. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Very weird indeed. Very weird indeed. Just looking if anybody else is, because we're talking favorite Christmas horror movies. What do you guys think of, like, when I was looking at this list, like, what do you think of Terrifier 3? What do you think of Krampus? What do you think of Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas? Gremlins? What other ones are on here that you might, there's Silent Night. Was that any good? That was from 2012. A vicious killer dressed as Santa Claus hides in plain sight during a small town's annual Christmas festivities. I don't know if I saw that one. Christmas Evil. That's the one I was trying to think of. Christmas Evil. Yeah, Christmas Evil is... I know Darren from Only Sans really likes this. And I like it. But I don't know if I love it. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where... Let me bring it up here. Hang on a sec. It's one of those ones where... Oops. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll recognize the poster. You'll get it in a second. Anyway, but it's one of those ones where, let me go back over here. This movie. Remember this movie? It's one of those ones where I'm not like, I know it's a classic, 1980. And I watched it last year for I think it was was it a horror movie nights I did this? I think it was. Or was it a Saturday movie night way back, like a couple years ago when I had my Patreon? I can't remember now. But I remember watching this, and I do like it. I think it's, I don't know, but I didn't love it. I kind of feel about this movie the same way I do with The Burning, which is another one that Darren from Only Sans really likes. It's one of his favorites of all time. I like The Burning, but I'm not like over the moon with it. I don't know. I'm kind of like, like I like it. I do, but I don't know. And I kind of feel that way about Christmas Evil. What do you guys think of Christmas Evil? Like, are you guys fans of Christmas Evil? Josh Stevens sends in a super chat. Thanks, Josh. Says, have you seen All the Creatures Were Stirring? It's on my list for this weekend. Apparently, it's a Christmas horror anthology a la Trick or Treat. I haven't seen it. I haven't even heard of it. Let me just quickly Google this. This is from a few years ago now. 2018. Huh. I've seen the poster, but I have not seen the series or the anthology series. I've not seen it. I'll have to check out some of this stuff. I want to check out It's a Wonderful Knife, and I want to check out the one with David Harbour, because I still haven't seen that one. And that was from like last year or something like that. I still got to watch that one. But yeah, Christmas Evil. Chris says it's okay. Tom Hungarian says Christmas Evil usually on Tubi. Rick M says Christmas Evil is good and the ending made me laugh hysterically. Yes. Brandon Collins says the guy who plays the killer in Christmas Evil is Fiona Apple's dad. True story. Really? You're dating ourselves there now. Fiona Apple. A lot of the younger crowd in the group are like, Fiona who? I remember Fiona Apple. I don't think she really lasted that long, did she? I mean, she's still alive, but I mean, in terms of her, I remember, yeah, she was big there for a little bit. Maybe she still was, and I just didn't pay attention to it. She's Fiona Apple's dad? Well, that's something I've learned here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I did not know that. That's really cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, Christmas Evil. I don't know. Dad says Christmas Evil was supposed to be titled You Better Watch Out. Distributors changed the title to make it seem like a standard slasher. Yeah, that makes sense, especially at that time. You know, You Better Watch Out, I mean, is a great title and probably far more marketable today as a Christmas horror movie, just because of it's much easier to market things now. In theory, it's easier to market things now and not confuse people if you do it right. Back then, I mean, no internet, no social media. I mean, it would have been like, what the hell is this? I didn't know that. Christmas Evil, yeah. Yeah, his name is Brandon Maggart. Brandon Maggart, Fiona Apple's dad. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. Tab of the Short says, I need to catch up on my Christmas horror movies. I've only seen 1 or 2 of the movies listed on Google. I usually just watch normal horror movies around Christmas time. It's the same. Same with me. I don't usually watch, even though I'm a horror guy and I love horror movies, and I do like Christmas horror movies, I don't watch a lot of them. There's more Christmas horror movies far more that I haven't seen than I have seen. I've seen the staples like Black Christmas, Christmas Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I've seen sort of your ones that you would expect. But when it comes to kind of, the outliers a bit, the newer ones, I got to catch up. I got to catch up on some of that stuff, which is pretty crazy. Just going back over here, making sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did. No, it doesn't look like it. It does not look like it. Yeah. Close some of these things down. Okay, there we go. That's better. Let me go over to the other screen. Yeah. To be honest, I'll watch Black Christmas any time of the year when I feel like it. That's good. Well, most people will do that with movies. That's one of the things that I mean, with Black Christmas, it's very seasonal. It's a very seasonal film, which is why the Billy films only really, they gain views throughout the year, but they spike this time of year because they're related to Black Christmas, right? So, yeah, every year, it's not usually talked about. Black Christmas really isn't usually talked about a lot outside of the Christmas season, right? So it is what it is. Folks, I do want to say too, before I go, I made the announcement the other day on my social media. You probably saw it. For those that are interested, some of you might not be interested and you don't care. That's fine. But the House on Port Robinson Road live stream is happening on Saturday, February the 21st, 2026 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a paid event. All the proceeds go towards the continued development for the House on Port Robinson Road. And very excited about this. This is myself and a few of my college friends for the first time in over 25 years. We'll be talking about this. There's 2 tiers. There's a tier for the live event, and there's a tier for the replay event. And so the live event tier will be about $50 US. That gets you to watch live. It gets you to take part in the Q&A, and it gets you also sent a digital concept poster as well. The replay event is about $25 US. No live show, no poster, no Q&A. but you get the replay afterwards. So once the live show is done, you'll be emailed a link and you'll be able to watch it afterwards, like renting a movie. But instead of having it for 48 hours, you'll have it for like 72 hours, or something like that. Very excited about it. And the live event is only for 200 people. So it is limited. The replay event is indefinite, but it's only up until the event. So you won't be able to purchase the replay event once, February 21st is done. Right. So it's important that you get in on it when you can. I understand that not everybody is excited, and I totally get that. I recognize that, but it's not for you then. It's for the hardcores that are very excited about this and want to show their support and continued support for the development of the house on Port Robinson Road. One day, everybody will care. Right now, it's like, it feels far away. It feels like Dave's little passion project. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel tangible, right? So I completely understand why some people kind of like, but one day it will feel real. And because once it is greenlit and it moves into production and it becomes part of part of the news cycle, and you start reading about it on, in trades and all that kind of stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it feels real. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Right now it kind of feels like Dave's little thing. And I totally get that. But this is not just a little thing I'm doing. This is a big major feature that I am in development on. And one of the ways to help reach our first stretch goal is I thought I would do a live show with my real college friends, some of whom I haven't seen in 20, 25 years, who I reached out and who are part of that little teaser that I uploaded to my channel. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but check it out. It's on the channel. Maybe I'll play it here in a sec. If you want me to play it, let me know. But very excited about it. And I think it's a good price point. You know what I mean? And it's exclusive. Like, we've not talked about this publicly ever anywhere. And this will be the first and only time we're doing it. And once it's gone, it's gone. So the live show does not then go up on my channel for everybody to see. It's a one-time only event. And there's two tiers. Like I said, there's the live show and there's the replay. Obviously, I want to sell out the live show, right? That's 200 spots. I would love to sell it out. Because that would be great. And, but there's the replay tier as well, if you want to choose that instead. But you only have 72 hours to watch it. So, and it's exclusive that way. And why is it a paid event? Well, because it's crowdfunding and it's fundraising, and that's why it's a paid event. And it's for the continued development of the house on Port Robinson Road. That's the whole point. And so, cause I have had people go, why is it paid? Because I'm raising money for the continued development of the house on Port Robinson. That's why it's paid. You don't want to partake in it. You don't have to partake in it. Nobody's holding your feet to the fire, but it is what it is. That's the idea of fundraising to help development for a major feature film. So I'm very excited. I know that Tabitha said she's excited and she's going to do it. When is it again? It's happening on Saturday, February 21st, 2026, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when it is. So it's happening on a Saturday. And barring any sort of emergency where I have to move it all of a sudden, like everybody, all my friends say, oh my God, I'm sick with COVID. I can't do it. Yes. I mean, obviously I would let everybody know that we would move it. Your tickets are still good for whenever it would be, of course. But as of right now, it's Saturday, February 21st, 2026. I wanted enough time to sell tickets, and because I'd love to hit our first stretch goal. And if we sell out all 200 of the live show, we exceed our first stretch goal, which is awesome, which would be amazing. So I'm hoping to do that. I don't know if I'll do that. I mean, I probably would be able to do it in one day if the movie had come out first and then I decided to do this. But of course, you can't put the cart before the horse, right? And so the development process is going very well. And I'm obviously it's taking up a lot of my time, but very, very excited. And I hope you will all join when it happens. And so we have Tabitha says, play it, Dave, play it. All right. We'll probably drop now to like 2 viewers watching, but that's okay. Stick around. If you haven't seen it, look, if you are into the paranormal, you are into ghosts, you are into the supernatural, that's what this is. But this was a time before smartphones, before social media, before YouTube, before the whole, rise of big business in this area with YouTubers going out and investigating haunted places. This is before that. And this is a real life experience. You know me as Dave McCrae, the voice actor, the filmmaker, mostly the YouTuber. And I get it, that's fair. But there was something that happened to me in my young life of 21 years old when I was in college that I cannot explain. And I'm not making this up. I'm not being performative. It was real. It happened. We went back multiple times. And it was a real thing. I can't explain it to this day, but it inspired me to write the feature-length screenplay, which is written. It's all done. The lookbook is done and everything. It's inspired me to write a psychological horror drama with supernatural elements, which I'm very proud of, inspired by this real-life event, or events, I should say. Event in terms of it being a single house, but the real story, story takes place over the school year. The film does not. The film, takes place in November. But yeah, so it's a real thing. It's a real thing. I'm not messing with you. I'm not exaggerating. And this live event is not just going to be me. It's going to be me and my college friends who are now middle-aged, just like me, who've gone off to, one lives in Vancouver, one lives in Pennsylvania in the States, one lives in the same town where we went to college. And it's very exciting. And we're going to be talking about this real life event that happened to us. It's not a joke. It's not performative. We're not, it's not The Conjuring. It's not Insidious. I love those movies, don't get me wrong. But this isn't, the Amityville Horror. We're not going to sensationalize anything that doesn't need to be sensationalized, but we're going to tell you the truth. And we saw some pretty fucked up shit by normal standards. I'm not saying we saw like Conjuring stuff. I'm just saying that it clearly has affected us and stayed with us for 25 years. It is what it is, right? And so, but anyway, yeah, I'll play that little teaser. It's on my channel now. I'll play the teaser. It's a live event I'm doing with my old college friends. I did reach out to some that declined. It wasn't personal. It's just that they said to me that because it's live, they've moved on with their lives. They have families and husbands and wives and kids and they're not online. They're not on YouTube in this way. And so to be live, it's intimidating, and they remember the event or events. They're like, oh yeah, I've never forgotten it. It changed my life, but in terms of the events or the live event, they've politely declined. And I respect that, but there's a few that haven't. And they're like, I'm in, count me in. Let's talk about this. And so very excited about that. And so that's what this is. All the proceeds raised continue to go towards the development of the house on Port Robinson Road, which is why the tickets will be sold through Indiegogo. That's why it's there. So it's there, it's tracked, it's through Indiegogo. It's part of the campaign. That's the whole purpose of it. And so it's not like, hey man, here's my PayPal. You know what I mean? It's through Indiegogo. That's where it is. So yeah, very excited about this. So let me play this little teaser for that event. If you shall indulge me. Don't tune out, folks. Don't tune out. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I have it here somewhere. One second. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. Did I not? No, I put it in here. PR live event. Yeah, here we go. All right. Here we go. Oh, I have to make sure that, okay.
I felt being outside, even out front. It didn't have to necessarily be out back, but even walking up, it was almost like walking into something completely different. I don't know how to mine was a personal experience. I was scared when I went, but it was deeper than just being scared that it was dark and an abandoned house. It was a different kind of fear.
So much stuff went on. even with us being the students that we were all kind of in programs that all required some type of logic and knowledge and some type of smarts back then. Let's like critically think and analyze, what could this be?
That's one of the things that I've even said to my YouTube audience is that, you know, this was a time before smartphones, before social media, before YouTube. We didn't go out there for the purposes of shooting video because we had an algorithm and likes and hearts to get. You know, we kept going out there because something was really happening.
It was almost like a thirst for knowledge of the unknown. It was like that agnostic search of who knows what. We didn't know what it was.
You're correct.
But we wanted to know why, who. I mean, as I said, like I've been through a lot of different things in my life. You know, 10 years I worked as a paramedic. You know, I've done psych nursing. I've been a nurse. I've, you know, through my other stuff and my spiritual stuff, I still to this day have not experienced anything like it whatsoever. And I've been to other haunted areas. I mean, heck, I've done some stuff with Beth. Yeah. Nothing has come close.
Nothing has come close to the house on Port Robinson Road.
No. Whatsoever.
Before going to Port Robinson Road, I would have been one of those guys. I wouldn't necessarily laugh at you, but I would think to myself, yeah, that's a waste of time. You know, there's really no point in going. I'd never really experienced anything like that. So in my eyes, it really wasn't truth. I came from a background of, you know, I was brought up in a Christian home. I wasn't really influenced with a lot of the, you know, the spirits are out there, or I believe in aliens or anything like that. But going to Port Robinson Road really just took my eyes, peeled them right open and said, you know what? There's the possibility for this to be out there.
There you go. The tickets for that event will go on sale, will be available, I should say, on, I think it's Monday, January 5th. It's January 5th anyway, Monday or Tuesday, January 5th, 2026 on Indiegogo. They can be purchased through Indiegogo. Again, there will be 2 tiers. The live event tier, only 200 spots available. I'm hoping to sell it out because if we sell it out, then we'll have reached the threshold of our first stretch goal, which is amazing. But there's also a replay tier as well for $25 US. And so I'm really excited about this. I mean, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. You're here to watch me talk about Halloween and horror and all that kind of stuff. I get it. You're not into what I'm doing with my filmmaking. I get it. But, I mean, not everybody. I mean, I know a lot of you are, and a lot of you aren't. But I'm very excited about this. It's a very, I've been working on this a long time, many years, and I thought this was a cool way to hit that, to see if we can raise a little bit more to hit that first stretch goal. So that's why it's a paid event. That's why it's exclusive. That's why it's not going to be available for everybody online after the show is done. That's why the replay link is like renting a movie. You get it for, you know, a few days and then it's gone. And it's designed that way not to be a dick. It's designed that way to keep the immediacy and the exclusivity of the event, because I am trying to raise funds for the development of the film. It's not personal, it's business, right? And so that's why. And I'm excited. We have our little, myself and my friends, some of who you heard in this teaser, we have our own little group chat that we chat with, and it's just so fun to even just talk, you know, and just hang out again. I mean, Michelle, who was the woman you saw there, who I was talking to, the former paramedic, we talked. That was the first time we had spoken in nearly 20 years. And we talked for 4.5 hours. We had a 4.5 hour Zoom call. And we couldn't believe it. We sat there, and it wasn't all about the house on Port Robinson Road. A lot of it was, obviously, but not all of it. Most of it probably, we were just catching up, reminiscing, talking about our lives. I mean, I want to know what she's doing now. And towards the end of the call, we were like, you know, this just kind of feels like we're hanging out, you know, in our dorm rooms. You know what I mean? Because when I when we met, we were kids. I mean, she's younger than me. She's a few years younger. I think she was 18, 19 when I met her. You know what I mean? Like, we're kids, man. Yeah, I was like 21, 20. I mean, it's so cool to still have that friendship and to know that in large part, this house and experience brought us all together. And it's something that we've never forgotten, clearly. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about the film, obviously. I'm not making a documentary. I know this might seem like I'm making a documentary. I'm not. It's a feature-length film, psychological horror drama. But this is just a live event that I'm doing separate from that, which I thought was really cool. So $50 US. No shipping involved, so it's not like it's $50 plus $15 shipping because I have to ship you something. There's no shipping. The poster you will get with it, it's a digital poster. The poster you will get with it will be, I can probably show you it actually. Do I have it? The poster you will get with it will be, if you pick the live event tier, you will get a high-resolution digital copy of this concept poster, which is one of the concept posters that is in my lookbook. There's the one with the face, which you've seen, obviously, the profile of the woman. But there's this one too. Where is it now? Oh, I know where it is. It's in here. Is it in here? Yeah, there we go. It's this one here. Oh, I think I just put a high-resolution copy of it on the screen. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. This is anticlimactic. You see, I'm teasing you. You see the suspense. It's the suspense, ladies and gentlemen. It's a suspense. Hang on. There we go. You can kind of see it a bit more. Okay. Hang on. We're getting there. There we go. There it is. So you'll get a high resolution copy of that poster. I love this poster. It's great. I did design it. No AI was used, if anybody's wondering, because I've been asked, did you use AI? No, there's no AI. That's the real house. I just, I'm a whiz with Photoshop, with posters, if I do say so myself. So, I mean, I'm not a professional or anything, but I know a thing or two of what to do. And this is a poster, obviously, a concept poster for the feature film in development. And it's obviously to convey the mood, the atmosphere, but also the genre as well. It's a horror movie, yes, but there's more to it. It's not a slasher movie. I wanted to convey the philosophical, more existential elements of the film. Like I've said, it's like it's got the mood and atmosphere of movies like The Others and The Witch, not stories. I don't mean plot. I just mean like that atmosphere, that mood and atmosphere of those kinds of things. But there's also a strong philosophical component to the story in the vein of like Contact and Arrival and things like that. Not in scope, not in story, but in terms of more of the philosophical existential components to it. So it's probably not the kind of horror movie that a lot of you have probably pegged it out to be. But I think it's scary as all hell. I think I've written a very scary film, but it's not just, a scary film. It's a character-driven film as well. As Steven Spielberg, and I'm not comparing this to Jaws. I'm just saying, like Steven Spielberg said about Jaws, how it's not just a shark movie, it's about people. That's how I feel about the film that I've written, that it's not just a ghost movie, it's about people. You know what I mean? So anyways, that will be part of the event package as well. You'll get a high resolution copy of that emailed to you. So I hope I can sell it out, spread the word. I'm going to be marketing it, through social media a lot over the next, especially when the tickets go on sale. Will I sell it out? I don't know. I'm not sure, but even if I could sell 100 out of the 200, I think would be amazing. The Q&A is going to be a lot of fun. You're going to hear us tell the real stories we've never told before. I mean, I've let you hear the Don't EVP, which you've heard, but there's a lot more. That's not the only thing that happened. I think there's a lot of people that think this whole movie surrounds, there's so much more that has gone on. And so we're going to be telling you the stories and the experiences and telling you everything about the real story, okay? The movie that the real story inspired is a bit different. There are true things in the film, of course, but it is a film that is inspired by, because that's what you have to do when you are creating something for the screen. But we're excited. I'm excited. They're excited. And the Q&A is going to be fun. You get to ask us anything you want to ask us about the house on Port Robinson Road and about anything of the stories that you hear us say. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. So that's a live event tier, 200 available. Daz says, pretty cool. Hope to get live event tickets. Yeah, I don't think they're all going to, I mean, listen, based on the crowdfunding, based on, it's not Freddy Krueger. I'm not making a Halloween fan film. So I think it will be difficult to sell them all out. Maybe not. Maybe people will surprise me, which would be amazing. But we'll see. We'll see. But I think you'll be able to get it. I don't think they're going to sell out the first day, which is why I wanted 6 weeks to sell them, because I think I'm going to need it. But yeah, come on out, folks, and hang out with me and my old college friends for, the event might be 2 or 3 hours, well, at least 2 hours. It might even be a 3-hour show, to be honest with you, because there's going to be at least 4 of us on there. So, it's going to be awesome. Bronson says, what are your favorite non-horror Christmas films? One Magic Christmas, Home Alone, Santa Claus, the movie, not the Santa Claus, although I do like that one as well. And Ernest Saves Christmas, I think, are some of my favorite Christmas movies. Great question. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Danny Huckins says, are you going to add the live stream as a special feature for the Blu-ray release? That's a great question. Well, I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because I don't know who's going to be in charge of physical media. So you have to understand that the money that I'm raising on Indiegogo right now is not to make the movie, right? It's to develop the movie. And so this movie is probably going to be, again, I don't have actuals yet, but it will likely be a $3 or $4 million film. I can't raise $3 or $4 million on Indiegogo. I don't have a big enough reach. It's not a title and a name that anybody knows. But what I can do is raise some money for development, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, raise a bit of money for development, because the development process of a movie costs a lot of money too. Hiring lawyers, fees, traveling, hiring line producers, creating maybe a little concept, video, all that kind of stuff. Right. And so developing a film is really important as well. And that's where I am right now. So I don't if I was able to crowdfund $5 million, then I could make the movie myself. But I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. And so I might not even be in charge of what the final poster looks like. I might not be in charge of what the artwork on any sort of physical media looks like. I might not be in charge. I don't know. I have no idea, right? And so because it might be, I don't know where this is going to go, because I'm not necessarily making this movie myself in terms of I'm the one in charge. I'm going to try and hold on to as much creative freedom as I can, because there are certain, I'm not going to turn this movie into a slasher movie. That doesn't make any sense to me. But with where I am in my filmmaking journey, you have to be able to negotiate and compromise on certain things. But I'm also going to have my hard nose, right? Here's what I'm willing to negotiate on. Here are my hard no's, and that's good. And that's good, right? And hopefully whoever's financing it, the studio, the production company, the financer, the angel investor, the producer, whoever's financing it, or maybe it's a co-pro, which simply means there's multiple people, multiple companies, then maybe they'll be okay with it. But I don't know. I have no idea how physical media is going to roll out. But would it be cool to be on the Blu-ray? Yes. But whether I have a say in that or not, I have no idea. Oh, yes, of course. Brandon Collins, Dave, have you watched the Elf Christmas special? I don't really think of it like a movie, but I have to throw Elf's Christmas special on there as well. Yes, of course. I love Elf's Christmas special. Have I watched it yet this year? I have not. It's free on Tubi. Such an uplifting story. It is, Brandon. It's such an uplifting story. I love it. It's so great. I get made fun of, but it's so great. Oh, Christmas Vacation, of course, would be, of course, I forgot to put that one on there. Yes, I love Christmas Vacation, non-Christmas horror movie. Yes, of course. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. How could I forget Christmas Vacation? Oh my God, I love it. Such good stuff. Such good stuff. Yeah, see, that's right. Distributors handle marketing, even powerful creative with Final Cut very rarely get their own trailers or approve key art. Of course, it's truly an indie. If it's truly an indie, then the situation is different. Exactly. And so if I could make this movie for $100,000, then sure. But this is not that. And it's not because there's, any wild special effects. I mean, there are visual effects in the film. Excuse me, that's not a spoiler. But it's not like The Conjuring or Insidious or something like that. But it's just the scale of the production, and I don't mean it's as big as that, but I just mean it's, it's a multiple location shoot. There's the farmhouse itself. I mean, the farmhouse is going to have to be built, unless there's a house that can be turned into a set, but the farmhouse will have to be built likely. That's going to cost a few $100,000 at the very least to build that, to weather it, to weatherproof it, to make it look old, that's huge. That's huge. And, and then there's, it's not Star Wars, it's not Marvel, it's not that level, but it would be on a scale of like shooting Halloween 2018. I'm not saying it's going to cost as much as that. I just mean in terms of like a low budget horror movie like that. It's not Paranormal Activity. It's, you've got a cast, you've got crew, I don't mean in terms of the cast either. Like I have Jamie Lee Curtis. I just mean like low budget horror movie, totally legit, low budget indie horror movie. That wasn't an indie film, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's that level of, like Incident in a Ghostland, or something like that, right? Like just choose some of these indie horror. It's like, yeah, you can't do this for, it's going to cost a bit, and you got a lot more turning wheels, a lot more crew, a lot more departments, and so I believe it's probably about a $3 to $5 million movie. That's where my ballpark comes in. I think if a distributor or if a studio was like, yeah, we'll take a chance on you. You say you can do this for $5 million bucks. Here you go. I think we're golden. But I can't do this for $500,000. I just can't. I would have to cut a lot of corners, and that's not like in visual effects. That's just in, the production, the cast, the gear, crew, the whole thing, right? I mean, all this is going to cost money, so, yeah. So anyways, well, this has been a good show, folks. It's nice to jump on and see your avatars and hang out with you for a little bit and talk some Christmas horror and what your favorite Christmas horror movies are. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I want to jump on again soon, maybe before New Year's or something like that. Maybe I'll jump on and we'll just kind of hang. Oh, well, Stranger Things. Maybe I'll do a Stranger Things recap live. That might be kind of fun. You never know. I'll think about it. But this has been a lot of fun. And so mark your calendars for that date, folks. Really appreciate it. Would love to sell it out. Would be awesome if we could do so. It was fun to jump on and hang out with you guys for a little bit. If you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on what your favorite Christmas horror movies are. What are some of your, like the ones that you watch every year, your favorite one? Give me the order below. I'd really like to know. Have a great rest of your Thursday, right? It's Thursday today? I think it is. It's Thursday. And I will talk to you all very soon. I'll have another pre-recorded video up on the channel. Excuse me. Very soon. It's coming soon. All right, folks. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the member chats. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hamming out with me. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit today. And I will talk to you all very soon. All righty. Cheers.